The story begins with a beautiful young woman named Sarah who is sitting in her car and talking to her boss on the phone. Her boss's name is Chris, and Sarah works as his assistant. Chris is a famous movie star. People are crazy about him and desperately want even a glimpse of him. Today, Sarah and Chris are arguing over something. In reality, Chris is a complete womanizer. He gets into short-term relationships with women and then ends things by giving them expensive gifts. He did the same thing again today with a girl named Shiley. After dumping her, Chris shamelessly orders Sarah to go to Shiley's house and bring back his clothes. Hearing this, Sarah gets furious and starts scolding him. She clearly says that she cannot do such cheap and disgusting work anymore. From her words, it becomes obvious that Sarah no longer likes working for Chris. After some time, Sarah returns home. As soon as she arrives, she sits in her mother Livia's lap, seeking comfort. She is completely fed up with Chris and just wants to relax in her mother's arms.
Soon, night falls. Sarah is in her room when she suddenly receives a call from Chris again. This time, Chris asks her to buy food and groceries for him because whenever he goes to a store himself, his fans surround him and won't leave him alone. Sarah rushes into a nearby store and quickly starts buying the groceries while Chris is still talking to her on the phone. Before hanging up, Chris tells her to bring everything to his place the next morning at exactly 8 a.m. However, Sarah gets late because she goes to meet her friend.
When Sarah finally reaches Chris's house, he refuses to open the door because she's late. This makes Sarah furious. In anger, she forces her way into the house and tells Chris that she has brought all his stuff, but she can no longer work for him. She starts packing her things and announces that she's quitting the job for good. Chris tries to stop her, but Sarah doesn't listen. The truth is, Chris keeps her busy all day with meaningless errands, and she's completely fed up. After leaving, Sarah goes straight home and tells her mother, Livia, that she has quit her job. Livia calmly supports her and says she should do whatever feels right, assuring her that she will always stand by her side. On the other hand, Chris is totally lost without Sarah. He's used to relying on her for everything, and her absence makes him realize how badly he treated her. Feeling guilty, he decides to visit Sarah's house the very next day. Inside the house, Livia is cleaning while listening to music. Even after ringing the doorbell several times, no one opens the door, so Chris walks in. Hearing the noise, Livia assumes a thief has entered and prepares to confront him. But the moment she sees Chris, she freezes. He's not a thief, but her daughter's boss. When Chris asks about Sarah, Livia tells him that she's not home. Since he really needs to talk to Sarah, Chris decides to wait. Livia asks him to sit and quickly goes to her room to freshen up. Meanwhile, Sarah is out with her writer friend, Molly. Back at home, Chris and Livia walk around the house and talk. Livia tells him that she's a writer and has published many books. Chris is surprised, as Sarah never mentioned this. Eventually, they start drinking together, and as the drinks flow, their conversation becomes more personal. Livia opens up about her past, revealing that her husband died in an accident 10 years ago, and since then, she has kept herself distant from men. After drinking too much, the two get carried away and cross a line in the heat of the moment. Just as things escalate, Sarah suddenly returns home. While calling out for her mother and walking toward her room, she opens the door and is completely shocked by what she sees. The shock is so intense that she screams, chokes, and collapses unconscious. Later, Sarah wakes up in the hospital. She angrily tells her mother to stay away from Chris, while Livia insists that Sarah is overreacting. Soon, the doctor arrives to check on Sarah, but when Chris enters the hospital, the doctor gets distracted by him as he's a huge fan. This only makes Sarah more irritated. When they return home, Chris asks Sarah to come back to work for him. Sarah refuses, saying that if she does, people will accuse her of getting the job because of her mother's relationship with him. Chris tries to explain that he didn't come to her house for that reason. He came because he genuinely wanted to meet Sarah and make things right. Sarah angrily warns her boss, saying that whatever he did with her mother should never happen again. Chris immediately promises her that it won't. A few days later, Chris is busy shooting a film, and Sarah is once again working alongside him. That same night, Livia is at home focused on writing her new book
when she receives a message from Chris. He asks to meet her. At first, Livia refuses, but when Chris says he just wants to talk, she agrees and goes to meet him, carefully getting ready. While Sarah is busy working on Chris's script with her writer friend Molly, Livia meets Chris in a hotel room. Both of them promise that whatever happened before will not happen again. They swear to control themselves. However, after dinner and a few drinks, emotions take over, and they end up breaking their promises.
Late at night, when Livia returns home, she runs into Sarah. When Sarah asks where she was, Livia says she went out for dinner with Chris. Sarah immediately questions whether it was just dinner. Livia defends Chris, saying he's a good person and that Sarah misunderstands him. After that, Livia goes to her room and calls her mother-in-law, telling her everything about Chris and about how Sarah dislikes him because he's her boss. Her mother-in-law advises her to follow her heart and not worry about others' opinions. Feeling reassured, Livia decides to move forward with Chris. Soon, Livia and Chris fall in love. They spend most of their time together, enjoying each other's company and feeling genuinely happy. Sarah, however, still doesn't like her boss. One evening, she finds out that her mother is writing a script for Chris. This shocks and angers her because Livia never told her about it. Later, at a party, Sarah confronts her mother. She tries to make Livia understand, but Sarah's anger is uncontrollable. When Chris steps in to calm things down, Sarah lashes out at him as well. She feels that ever since Chris entered Livia's life, her mother has started drifting away from her. Even Livia loses her temper, and after a heated argument, Sarah leaves home and goes to stay with a friend. On the other hand, Livia goes to her mother-in-law's house to celebrate Christmas. After some time, Sarah also arrives there so the whole family can celebrate together. Sarah is still upset and tells her grandmother that Chris is not a good man. Her grandmother gently explains that after Sarah's father died, Livia never thought about her own happiness. She lived only for Sarah. If she has finally found love again, the family should support her. During Christmas dinner, the family warmly welcomes Chris. Livia's mother-in-law likes him, and Chris feels happy being accepted. Later, Livia shares a painful truth. Sarah's father had wanted a divorce because he was involved with someone else, but he died before anything came out. After Christmas, when everyone is getting ready to leave, Sarah helps load luggage into Chris's car and notices an expensive gift, the same kind Chris used to give women when breaking up with them. She assumes that Chris is planning to break up with her mother. At first, she stays quiet, but once they return home, she shows the gift to Livia and tells her the truth. Livia believes her and asks Chris to leave. A few days later, it's New Year's, but no one feels happy. Sarah then goes to meet Chris. He explains that he never wanted to break up with Livia. The gift actually belonged to Shaylee, who had returned it, and he simply forgot to remove it from the car. Sarah realizes that Chris truly loves her mother. To fix things, Sarah takes Chris to a store. At the same time, Sarah's grandmother brings Livia to the same store. When Livia sees Chris, both are shocked. It turns out this was all a plan by the grandmother and Sarah to reunite them. Sarah apologizes to both of them for her mistake and quietly leaves. In the end, Livia forgives Chris and they reunite, bringing the story to a happy close. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you enjoy stories like this, please subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Until then, bye.